Welcome to Have a Happy Arty Time. My name's Janette and this is part 2 of making collage blackbirds. Now in part 1 we did all our stamping and I've cut them all out here, and we have our roll-off background sheets. Now I always use a good piece of copy paper as my roll-off sheet, as I find that the copy paper roll-off sheets usually end up being my backgrounds because they have such wonderful bits and pieces on them. So I have a sheet here that I've cut down to A5 size. Okay, so let's begin. I have my white gel pen and I'm just going to highlight some of the areas that are already on this sheet of paper. Now we just want this very subtle in the background, so I'm not trying to put too dark a white coverage on here as I go around. And if they start to look a bit bright, I just knock it back with a little bit of tissue. I also just make some little flowers up as I go along with some of these circles, just to add a little bit more interest here. Now all of my line drawings are available for you just via my email address. You'll find that down in the description. And please, if you haven't seen my making soft foam stamps video, please go to it, check it out. It's very simple and you'll learn how to make these soft foam stamps. Okay, so continuing on making these backgrounds look a little bit better. And I'll just get my birds and see if I can get them in the right position. So I'm wanting to stick them somewhere here when I get everything sorted, so I can see I could put a few more little circles. Okay, so I'm liking this. I know I've got to get a few bits and pieces over here. There we go. So I'm really liking this. I'm going to put my birds down and I'm going to then start to add some greenery on top. So just using a glue stick, I'm going to glue this bird to that bird just very loosely. I'd like these to not be fully down so that they give the impression that they're 3D, sitting on top a little, coming out from the paper. I really love that look. Okay, now I've got some greenery, I've got some dark, and I've got some light. Now remembering that when we cut these out, we're wanting to leave the white around the edges so it just comes forward from the page a little bit. So I'm just going to build it up and we'll just go from there. Just going to use some light and dark on this. Okay, so I'm really liking this now. There's enough on here to continue on with. I don't want to overcrowd this, so I think I will move this over to here. There we go, so we've got our lights and our darks happening and our shadows, and I think that this is beautiful. So I'm going to leave this as is and just glue it on now. And remembering, I don't glue everything down. I want this to be free flowing in a sense. You can take a photo of your artwork when you have everything in place on your phone or whatever, and that just helps you to see where you had your bits and pieces if you accidentally flick it up like I just did. Just a light bit of glue to keep it in place. And you can put a little bit of glue, of course, as you know, on the back. Now just covering up a little bit of the base here. I decided to take this leaf back out. I wasn't too keen. It was a little bit big there, so I'll add a couple of smaller ones. And place some flowers down the bottom here. Just some little ones over any bits and pieces that we want to cover up or add some more interest to. Now anything that's hanging over the edge, we can keep it there or we can move it. We'll decide that with whatever substrate we put it on. So I'm absolutely loving this. It's looking like the birds are hidden in their little nests, safe and sound, with nothing that can harm them. I'm just going to take the stem off that one and pop him down in there. Now when you put just a tiny little bit of glue on, it's much easier to be able to move the pieces if you're not happy. So I'm really happy with this. I'm going to add a little bit more white gel pen on top just to bring out all the veins and things in the leaves. Okay, that's looking very good. I'm loving the greenery. And remember to make enough of these backgrounds and cut out enough of your stamp foliage so that you can have a play around and do it a bit differently. As you know, I've got this one now that we've just made, which I'll cut off the edges, and I've got this one, and I'll go on and make a few more. My hint is to make a few of them, and you'll get one that you think, yes, I absolutely love this, and you'll get some you think, but that's been a practice. That's helping you get arty. Okay, so now it's time to put our pink blackbird collage together, followed by our blue. Okay, so we're back with our pink one now. We have our background, which is another roll-off sheet. And we've got all our stamped out images cut out and our bird. And I'm going to speed this whole process up because you've just watched it all in the green. And this way you'll just see it come together. Okay, enjoy. Okay, so I'm really enjoying this little one. It was simple to put together, and I think I'm going to leave him just like this. Now, depending on where I'm going to be putting this, if I'm putting this on a mixed media page, I will leave it like this without chopping anything off the edges. If I'm putting it on a card and it's just that normal rectangular shape, then I will cut it off. But for now, I'm going to leave that one as is. Get my piece of plastic to press down on here. Make sure the areas are glued down properly. My poor old glue stick died, so I'll just put him in the bin. Get another one out, and we're going to go straight into our blue one now, which is another simple process. And once we get going with these, as I've said to you before, if you make heaps of different backgrounds, different colours, all sorts of things, you can just have fun creating. So we can see for our blue one, it's very, very simple. We simply have our bird chopped out. I have a rolled off background here, and I have a stamp that I have made, just a soft foam stamp again. And I have just stamped as we seen when we were making the backgrounds, and these are some of the backgrounds here. And this one I had already done, and I thought, well, this is such a simple process. So for instance, this one has had a stamp placed down on it, just pale. I might do that again, I'll show you, and we might pop that down, and then just adding a darker one in here. This one has also had one stamped down on here. Just love these backgrounds like this, and placing this coming out that way. Might move the bird over a little bit, and we can add words and lots of other things, and we can keep it just very simple, just like this one for instance. And one of my favorites is this one here that I did on some graph paper, and it's just so simple, and when I add text and other things, it's going to come up really beautiful. So I love this one. It has a base for his little feet to go, a little bit of white out. So here's our white, and I'm just going to lay that where I had it on this one, which I'm thinking is about here. Yep, and it doesn't matter if it doesn't go in quite the same place or anything. Just going to add texture and all sorts of different things. Okay, we'll pull him up. There we go, looking lovely. And we've got this one that I wanted to lay in across this way. And our bird. So we'll just move that for the moment. Pop our little bird down where we want him. Now if we're not happy with how that is stamped, we can just grab another one of these and we can put it on. Just loving them. I'm not sure whether I like them best with the 2 leaves or with 1. But anyway, as we can see, we have lots and lots of choices. And the fun thing that I do is I make lots of backgrounds, as I've said, and I give myself plenty of choices just to express my art. So I hope you've enjoyed this process. It's been wonderful to do this blackbird collage with you. I loved our green work that we finished up with, and our pink, and now our blue. So I hope you're able to have a happy arty time and make some of these. And remember, use everything just as a base and put your own creativity into it and give yourself plenty of options. So thanks so much for watching this. Stay safe. Bye for now.